eSailGP. 6 nations, 1 winner. Nathan Outridge and Tom Slingsby's rivalry comes down to the wire. Who will bring home national glory? The grand final of the SailGP Championship, Season 1, Marseille, September 20th to 22nd.
Hello everybody and welcome to eSailing TV. We are live from Marseille and sorry we just frozen. It's because we have been having some small issues with the internet, but all is well. And just see how the issue is here. Everything is just jumping into it, but you can hear it. We are in Marseille, we are live at the stage, and Steve, you with me live from Sydney. We know we can hear you and you are there. So welcome in studio, my friend.
Thank you, mate. I love this technology. Here you are in Marseille. You've traveled all the way to Marseille. I see we've got a few technical issues, but I'm sure everyone understands that's the way it is when you're pushing the boundaries. You've driven 18 hours, Thomas, to get to Marseille so that you can broadcast this this tournament. And no doubt we might have a few little glitches along the way, but that's okay. Let's make the most of it. Is it busy there in Marseille? Is there a lot of people around, Thomas? Okay. Yeah, g'day, Thomas. Are you there? Now you are. Now you're there.
Hello
Yeah, well,
again,
look,
Steve. We just fixing the internet here on the spot. We were used to be to another place. But Steve, while we are here, don't speak about the technical problems. We are in Marseille. We are live. We're going to do a lot of shows from here, and we're just fitting everything in, and we're getting ready for everything to go in and have some fun with it. So.
Well, Thomas, I hear you've just driven 18 hours.
Yeah. It's a small trip from Denmark to Marseille, but we are going to have some fun with it.
That's quite a trip. 18 hours is quite a trip, mate. I love your commitment. Yeah. 18 hours drive to broadcast eSailing TV in Marseille and do something a little different. So good on you, mate. Thanks for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. And Steve, while we are speaking, today we're going to make a lot of other fun. We are going to broadcast and speak a little bit about the game. So instead of talking, let's go in and talk about this beautiful boat, the EF50. And here we have it. We can see the format, Steve. Can you see it? It's the EF50. It's a fast boat, and we have this classic format we know from before, from both the NACFRA and also the F18. But there are some changes with it. There's boundaries on it.
Yeah, much different with the boundaries. And I looked at. I played a bit on it today as well. I've clocked up 45 games or matches on it now, and had a lot of practice. And look, I actually really like it. It's really different from playing the other games, but with the boundaries and things, and the boats, learning how to use the boats. And we'll talk about that some more as we're watching the racing later on. Yeah. There's a few things I've picked up that since this is all about training and learning, I thought it might be nice, if possible, with a few of the little things I've picked up, to share them with some of the guys, because at the moment, the last 2 days are all about learning and training and practice for the competition that's coming up, right? I mean, it must be only a day or so away before the actual competition will start.
Yeah.
So let's hopefully today, when we're looking at it, give some guys a few little tips to give them a little bit of chance of doing well when the racing starts.
Yeah. And what we're talking about here is the last practice day before the online competition. And I just have to say to all of you, I have some fantastic prizes for that championship. The winner will take it all, will take a signed jersey from all the skippers at SailGP, plus a cap. and we will send it directly home.
Oh.
So there's a really prize on the stake for the final. And here we have the race started, Steve. See the boats here, how they're going into it.
Now I can only see you at the moment, Thomas. I can't see any of the boats.
Two sec, and then can you see them now?
There we go.
There you
I
go.
can see them now.
Fantastic. They're coming down towards around the first mark. They're going towards the gate mark. See the speed they're having. They're only with 31 knots. We know they can go over 50. We have seen the fastest one is 53 knots.
Yeah, these guys, the boats do go fast. Now, I've realised something about this, Thomas, when I've been playing, is that as we're talking about the speed that they slow down when they're tacking, it's definitely true. They do slow a lot when they're tacking, but it's when you go upwind that it's a tack. When you are downwind, it's called a jibe. And you know what? Downwind, when you do the jibe, you don't lose so much, and it picks up very fast. So what I've really realised with this game, what is king is not angle, but wind speed.
Yeah.
If you can see a place on the course, like out on this, looking at now on the left-hand side of the course, you can see it's a little bit darker.
Yeah.
If you can get to the stronger wind with these boats, you get such a huge advantage. These boats get a little bit of extra wind, and away they go. That's why this boat on the left they're both accelerating quite a lot.
22 knots we can see, but Crystal Bill just coming in front, but the boat survived that attack.
So you see, Ellen has tacked away down here. Now, Ellen tacked because even though we're saying you shouldn't tack too much, he's chosen to do a tack before he crossed over because down this left-hand side there's more wind. So really, especially when at the moment they're going upwind, but especially on the downwind, tacking doesn't really affect the boat's speed too much, and it picks it back very quickly. It does going upwind, but the trick with these boats is to try and find the wind. There's more breeze definitely down the left-hand side of the course that we can see by the windsock up on the left-hand side, or the dark area, I should say.
Yeah.
The windsock shows the direction, but by the dark area. So I found, Thomas, the key with these boats is if you can see an area on the boat, area on the course where there's more wind, try to get into that wind. And even if the angle isn't as good, you're going to end up with maybe being able to get in front just by having more wind.
Yeah.
But here we go. Who have we got? We've got Ellen sailing. We've got Christy Bella, maybe a lady on this boat. Christy Bella,
yeah.
Christy Bell 88. Sounds a nice name. Boat 65984. I guess they're Australian boats. So here, as we know, these boats, you can either have your own boat with your own colours, or you can choose one of the F50 boat types, which is there's the 5 different teams that are sailing. So this one here is the Great British boat, and Great Britain. And then we've also got the Australian boats. There's the French boats. There's the Japanese boat, and there's the Australian boats. So people can pick one of these boats if they like, or you can actually choose your own colour. I think maybe the black ones here are probably boats that are just the ones that are selected. Like if we look at Alan sailing, he's just a black and red boat, I think, and he just chooses. So he's just chosen the standard colours. But you can also go in and select your own colours if you've got favourite colours, and you can get designs to put on your boat. But anyway.
But see the difference here in this race, Steve. We have 3 skippers that are really doing a fine job. They know a lot about the boat. We can see they've been practiced. And then we have a lot of new skippers also. These boats that's coming from behind, just trying to game for the first time maybe. Because when they're called this boat, they might just play as a guest player. And it's fantastic to see so many guest players in here. This one doesn't have a chance. It looks like it's the first time ever this boat has been playing the game.
But he's getting around the course, finding out how the boat works. And as we've spoken before, the learning curve on this e-sailing is very fast, and especially with these F50, because the F50 boat is quite an easy boat to sail in the e-sailing, and the boats go very fast. So you can actually learn the game really well. I have noticed that the good players who win regularly in the other races are winning again. So, the skills that you pick up with the other boats obviously carry through to the F50. But there are new aspects of the boat you have to learn, and new ways of sailing it. As I was saying before, I was really going with trying to focus on not doing too many tacks and trying to get the right wind direction. But in that windsock up in the top left-hand corner, you can really see the dark shadow. And so on this course at the moment, you'd really want to stay on the left-hand side of the course, and that's why the boats on the left are actually out in front. The boats on the right-hand side, where it's very light with less wind, they see often if there's not enough wind, the boat won't go up on the foil.
Yeah.
Now, if it's not up on the foil, you've got all that weight, all that drag through the water. Once it's up on the foil, they take off like a turbocharger. As you're looking at there, Thomas, you've got a nice picture there showing him. He's up on his foil, so the boat is literally flying through the water. And when we say flying, that's not a figurative term. That's the reality of it, because an aeroplane flies through the air because of the wings. With the pressure of the wing going through the air, gives it lift, which makes it fly. Well, these boats are doing exactly the same thing, but the foils going through the water get the lift, and it lifts the boats up, and now the foils are literally flying through the water. And so all that hull, all that boat, which is such a big area, if that was running across the water and creating drag, it would just slow the boat down. And that's why these boats can go so extremely fast.
And there we see them coming around the mark, the last boats here. And we can see this boat, yeah, it looks like it's flying, but first there we saw it come up flying, and we can see when they're really having speed, we have these white markings with the boat in the graphics, then we know they're up in the foils. And Steve, this was the starting race of today, and while we're speaking about foils, let's learn a little bit about this boat, how it's actually work, how it's going to be steered.
When we launched the boats back in October in New Zealand, it became very apparent that the hardware and software that was in the boat wasn't going to be good enough. So they took them to the UK, to the Artemis Technology Simulator, and Luke Parkinson and Nick Hutton went up there with Jonathan, who's in charge of the whole control systems group. So they got rid of the joystick, they've put in now this double twist grip device with a bunch of buttons, kind of like a PlayStation or Xbox controller.
This is our new flight controller human interface. Many more functions and a lot more controllability of flying the boat. So these big twisty things, you can see here, this is now controlling the dagger board. We can control both dagger boards at the same time when they're both in the water. We can control the roll of the differential of the rudders. And then on top of that, we've got the average rudder lift on 2 buttons. So there's plenty going on right here.
Really, it's the flight controllers have all been working together to find this common solution, and they've absolutely nailed it. Stu's basically flying the boat all the time, so he spins the wheel, like less lift and more lift. So the whole time he's literally there, like flying, looking at the bow, just flying little adjustments, little adjustments.
So the big debate at the moment is, do you fly the boat in a straight line from this position, or does your helmsman still fly the boat? Everyone's trying to get the secrets out of all the teams, see who's doing what.
The Aussies have committed hard to the flight controller, and then the Japanese are also using it a reasonable amount of the time. And I think that the other 3 teams, the Chinese, the French and the Americans, are still using the helm. So it'll be interesting if there's a split as to how the fleet get on here and who's sort of chosen the right direction. It's been very noticeable, the change. Most people are foil jibing every time. Foiling tacks are becoming more and more common now. For me, sailing the boat, it's starting to feel like it's reaching its potential.
Welcome back in studio, my friend. It's such a pleasure to be here in Marseille sending live. And right now we just switched to another camera we brought with us because we have so many possibilities. And Steve, see the activities here behind me. People, press, technicians are moving around. They're getting ready for the eSailGP to open for tomorrow. And this is the thing. And just here behind me, we can just see where the prize ceremony will be. The big trophy will come there for the winner of the eSailGP. We are live from Marseille. And Steve, I know you're sitting in Sydney, a little bit sad about it, but how is the weather there?
Well, we had 3 days of a lot of rain, and so, you know, the ducks and the trees and all the plants are very happy. And look, we've got to have rain sometime because I love my showers in the morning. I'd hate to turn on the tap and the water doesn't come out. So, but it rained hard. We're supposed to be spring here. It's been a bit cool. But looking at that screen behind you there, Thomas, that's the stage, is it? Is that the stage for tomorrow?
It's the stage we have here behind me. And then on the opposite side here, just beside we saw on the other camera, we have a big screen and another stage with entertainment. So we have a prize
so that big, that big, is that a screen? The big black thing, is that?
It's a backdrop.
It's a backdrop, okay.
So
it's
cool.
a backdrop, right.
Steve, we are going into the next game. We are here to speak about the eSailGP. And I know in a few minutes and after this stream, I will see the real F50 sail out to the water. And you can see the weather, the conditions are perfect today. But the reason why e-sailing is so popular for sailors is because when the wind doesn't work, or it's too much, or it's too light, then they can't sail, but they can always do e-sailing. And Steve, we are going into the next one, the next race here. We are going to see, just see how many activities there are in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're already over 20 servers again. It's amazing what these boats are doing. And see, 4,559 skippers has already raised the second challenge. Isn't it impressive?
So that one, Thomas, 9 of 10. So we see when that comes live. See, here we go. It's just going live now. See who's inside that one. Anybody? Yeah. Oh, Merlot. Shall we go on there? Merlot. Yeah. We know who Merlot is. Yeah. Shall we?
Yeah, let's go in and watch it. Merlot is one of the guys we know from the online sailing club. He can also do some races, but have he been practiced with the E50? We don't know. We will watch in a few seconds. Here we see the boats. Let's go from behind.
This is a good example. We've got quite a few coloured boats in this one. So Merlot, he's in the orange boat. He's chosen his own boat. We've got Barry and Lucifer, who's in the Australian boats. They've chosen, they may be Australians, so they just might like the colours. You know, we've got UBSC in the British boat. There's Edouard. He's in his own. He's chosen his own colours there. Yes, and actually no, he's got the French boat. Sorry, Edouard.
See that difference.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah. See some of them doing a slow start. Some of them coming with speed from behind. Edouard was one of them doing a slow start. See how long he is behind. Where Barry, 45.3. What a starting speed he has. Wow.
Nice start.
Oh, but hitting the mark.
And, so that's a shame. You know, such a good start because it's not easy. He had just turned a little soon. So now Merlot has got the lead, and as we know, Merlot's a very experienced sailor. He's going to be hard to get this to get the lead back off Merlot once he's got it. So anyway, that was a little unfortunate for Barry, but let's watch this. Okay, so he's chosen this right-hand marker. He's probably looking at both the wind direction and the wind strength. He wants both. If you can get both, that's ideal. I was saying before, I think if I had to choose between a really strong wind and the right direction, I think after a little bit of practice I've had, I'd go for the wind strength. So Merlot's gone out the other side of the course. He's actually gone for wind direction in this case because he wanted to hit there where that windsock was pointing from the left to right. So I think that Barry may have got the lead off him. He's got right of way here. Go Barry. Oh, he's given him a penalty. Yeah. Well done, Barry. Yes. So now that was an example of that. Barry went out that side of the course, and I think there was a little bit more wind. You know, if we were to look at the two boat speeds, or now Barry's and Merlot.
And Merlot, he is.
Merlot's gone.
Yeah, Merlot's gone. He's disconnected. He got mad. It's only practice. It doesn't ruin his best serious score, so he disconnected. This is how when you can't lose the game. But see here, 4 skippers, 4 boats, 4 EF50s on a straight line. What a view. They're going for the top mark. But who is placed the best when they're going in the angle around this gate mark, Steve?
Well, Barry's looking pretty good at the moment, isn't he? And but the other guy's got right away coming across. He's on starboard, but Barry's going to be in front of him. Now, when he turns, it does slow the boat down. You'll see the boat catch up. Watch how much this boat catches him here, Thomas. Huge amount. So, but he can't get past him. So if you turn in front of someone,
see what happened with Barry?
You know,
and the
what he's done. He's a bit lucky. Yeah, well, here's actually for something. Since this is all about learning and training, here's a little bit of advice. Don't just turn on the ley line when you're going to be coming up to that. The white line's the ley line. Don't just turn when it. Go a little bit past it, because it's possible that if you're coming up to the mark, if the wind changes a little bit, you'll find yourself suddenly outside the ley line. And with these boats, if you try to turn a little bit away from the wind, you really lose your speed. You can drop off your foils and slow right down. So just a little bit of advice, add a little bit extra. don't just go on the ley line, go a little bit past, so that you can, if you lose your wind, you can always, you're not going to suddenly be slowed down.
But it's so
Okay.
lucky for Barry. Barry, he made
Yeah.
this mistake going upwind, losing momentum, but the boat behind him panicked because he was afraid of
Yes.
sailing into Barry and lost totally the speed. And then
Yeah.
Menace Tropic did the same. So Barry's still in front with 33 meters.
Yeah, well, and Barry's headed out to this side of the course. We call this the right-hand side of the course because we're looking up the course. See, there's more wind on the right-hand side, so he's really got it good. He's got the boats to the left of him, which he's got the wind angle, which is left to right, so he's going to have a favourable wind soon. But I would just about, if I was Barry, I'd think about turning now because he's going to be heading for the lighter wind. It's hard to tell. I mean, his boat speed at the moment is doing about 23.4.
4.
Yeah, and it's going down. See it moving down, 23,
Yeah.
because the wind's dropping. So when he turns back here, it'll start to climb again. But these other boats, so now we look at that black boat, which is boat 93735. He's going to have much more wind now. His boat speed? He's doing about 25 knots or so. And so Barry may find himself. You can look how dark that is up there, Thomas. See how dark that is, where he is? Now, Barry's way back. He's minus 34 meters here. This boat has to give way. He's copped a penalty. He was on.
Yeah.
Barry was not Barry. Boat 93735 was on starboard. Now he's on starboard. Barry has to give way. Barry's lost out because he went out where the wind was weaker, and the other boat had the extra speed. Through having the higher wind. Now, what's he going to know? This is going to be. Have to be careful here. Ooh. He nearly turned his boat to slow it down too much. You have to keep the speed up on these boats, which means that don't let your boat turn into the wind. You've always got to keep a good angle onto your sail.
We see JT Ryan doing it here. It looks like the Chinese on the Hudson River coming in
Don't
first.
get lost here, mate.
Yeah, they came in first at the gate mark.
Yeah.
Got upwind, lost it totally, and the boat stops. The Australians came from behind and took over. And see, we have a fight for the winning. Will it be the boat visitor or will it be Menace?
Oh, he's turned too soon. He's missed it, I think.
Oh, yeah, he did. He turned too
He
early.
missed it.
Yeah. So unlucky.
Oh.
So he is fight for
Oh,
second
my.
and third. Can Barry come in? He's penaltying there.
He's
So-
made a hash of it now.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, boat 93735. You did so well all the way to the last corner. You know, I mean, in racing, how often is it, hey? That last corner gets so many people, whether it be boat racing, car racing, whatever. That last, boat 93735.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Barry won't be too happy. And Menace Tropic.
Really?
Menace Tropic will be ecstatic because he wasn't even really anywhere up there for most of the race.
So
That was a good race, Thomas. Good race.
It's a good start. It's fantastic to see the players, how they're actually practicing with this game. And Steve, while we're speaking practice, I don't know if everybody can hear some music in the background. They are now testing the graphics, they're now testing the music, and they're getting ready to test the boat also here in the Sail Village. And I just have to say to all of you, we are here in eSailing TV. We are on site. What an incredible event they are putting together here. It's such a good event. I'm just saying, wow. Come and enjoy, come and watch. It's really, really something great. Steve, while saying that, we're going into the next race. But I know you're in Sydney, looking forward to it when it's coming to Sydney next year.
Certainly am. It's going to be great. Yes. I mean, I may be able to get down to the harbour and connect with you, using technology from down in the harbour here. We might be able to stream a few shots from Sydney.
Yeah, we will, Steve. We will. We'll just go in here. We saw the ranking list of the last place. Did you remember JT Ryan when he came up to the mark? How he actually lost his position? He lost it because he was going upwind. He's an experienced sailor. We have been seeing before in eSailing, but he needs to learn this fantastic EF50 boat to know when turning around these marks. And we see here the course. When they're racing downwind, they're actually not losing that much momentum when they're coming around the gate, but when they're going upwind to the top gate, wow, they really have to take care.
Yeah, yes. Keeping keeping the speed up is key. Definitely key. So it'd be good if we can try and catch one of these guys at the start. Oh, they're already away. Okay.
They just came away. 2 seconds for it. But see, again, a penalty to Dutchy. Some of them get a slow start. This Alingugui came with speed from behind, but he doesn't have the right away. Yeah, oh, he's so lucky. He just turned in on the inside. What a turn by him.
Yeah, it's, once again, you got to get that good start away, Thomas. Let's after once this is race over, maybe in the next race, let's really do a focus on the start and see how we can give some advice maybe on how to get away. But yes,
the leading boat losing momentum. See, the other skippers are having around 40 knots. He only had 34 knots, but coming in, giving penalty. Oh, got a penalty himself. So right now it's actually a boat doing the best job, a guest boat with the Australian flag. Steve, when we're speaking about the Australians, do you think the Australians will win SailGP this year?
well, I wouldn't be surprised. They really are they've got a slick team, a very slick team, you know, and I think that a lot of their development and a lot of their experience and training is really paying off. But I mean, them and the Japanese are really finding it out a lot. There's obviously some close, and it's interesting to see the captains of those boats. You know, I mean, they're not actually. This is how international it is. You know, people from all around the world are sailing boats from other countries. So the boats may have Australian flags and being from Australia, but if you look at the crew members on them, there's people from all around the world on these boats. It's just so international now.
And we have a fight towards the middle. We can see Doxy is in second, but it's still the boat. He's in front, but he's losing momentum, 23.9. The others have around 24, so they're capturing a little bit more wind. And from the other side, Doxy try and come from right-hand side to the left, losing momentum totally. There's no wind on that side.
Yeah, doozy, hey, that's a good name, doozy. That's a real doozy. Right. I love the way some of these guys come up with these names, especially the ones that are easy for us to pronounce. That's, yeah, these guys are really doing quite well. The guys at the front, I mean, they're making a real race of it. They're keeping it close. As we've seen, often there can be 100 or 200 meters between players, but these guys are keeping it quite tight. Once you get around that top mark though, and you head downwind though, suddenly the boat takes off and accelerates. So you can have a 20-meter margin suddenly becomes a 150-meter margin. This has now jumped out to about 90 meters, but it happens very quickly once you hit the top mark and you head downwind, because the boats pick up speed so fast.
Yeah, and this time we actually see all the players coming in with a good angle and a good turn. So we don't have any difference in the positions. It's still the boat 8, 6, 4, 7 to 8 in front. It's Ducey in second. It's the French boat in third. Oh, he's now in fourth because Doxy is coming in. Let's see his speed. 38, 39, 30, almost 40. Ducey only have 27. That's much more speed in the opposite side. This is about reading the radar. See, he's coming in with 40 knots. The other boats only have 30. He can capture around 50 meters within seconds. So,
yeah, he's. I mean, from this particular 40 meters, you know, but these guys are having a great race. You know, who says it can't be close? But having these borders, we've seen them have to turn there. You know, where you go out of bounds if you go over the border. It really, as we've spoken about before, Thomas, puts a whole different dimension on this racing, because if it wasn't for those, you could really just go at one side of the course to the other side of the course, and there'd be much less racing. Once somebody got onto a good piece of wind and they got onto the right angle, they just have to ride it out and then come back the other way. And I think it wouldn't make it as interesting. These borders actually make it very much more interesting, because the boats come together much more often. And when you've got your boats doing 30, 40, 50 knots coming together, you know, in real life, it's really exciting, of course. And even in this e-sailing, it makes it a lot more interesting, I think, than if we didn't have the borders.
Yeah. And the borders, the boundaries, it's fantastic, actually. I think it's a good thing for this game to have one boat with boundaries and other boats where you actually can sail way out of the ley lines and go into it. It's
I agree.
very impressive.
I agree.
Very impressive.
Boundaries, that's the one, not the borders, the boundaries. Yep.
Boundaries, yeah. And right now we can hear also they're testing sound here on spot. So I don't know if you get a lot of that into it, but what a fantastic race we have here. See Ducey losing again momentum, 19.9, France 24. Then we have Ali Kugui here. He's coming in 5th, but still in front. It's the boat, and he already come around the mark, closely followed by Ducey.
I tell you, these guys in the background are quite loud, Thomas.
I've just been turning them out here. It's because they're testing while we are live. This is
Yeah,
how
well,
it is to be on live stage. They're really having a good voice here.
Anyway, this is the final part of this race here. He's at the reach now. This is called the reach. And he's done a good job. It's the fastest part of the course once you come around that bottom turn and go around the reach. And I haven't really seen anybody doing any passing in that part of the race. So I think if you can, except for we saw before, the one guy hit the marker, which gave him, or missed the mark. He turned too soon. So long as you get around the mark at the reach, you're pretty well safe. I don't think anybody can pass anybody going across the reach.
There we see the last boats coming into the finish line. We can see Ducey coming in 3rd, Aliguri coming in 4th. And while we're watching that, it's fantastic to hear how they're getting ready for all their guests tomorrows, testing the loud of the sound. Luckily, we can still over-talk them. Steve, we're having 2 Australians and a Kiwi in the top 3, and then we have Aliguri in 4th and CS Danny in 5th. Where he's from? He's from Hungary. We can
now, Thomas, I don't know how it is for you, but where I am, and I don't know how it is for the viewers, the guys in the background are coming through so strong, it's very hard to actually hear you.
Okay, but the viewers don't have this issue because I have another mic on there. So let's just go into studio. Steve, this is going to be the end of today's stream. We are here, we are live in Marseille. Please follow our Facebook, please go in live and see what we're updating. We're going to do a lot of clips and get ready for this tomorrow challenge starting up, and it's going to start up and we can go in and fight for the prize. It's going to be a polo, it's going to be a cap signed by all the skippers. Thank you for watching.
No one?
Yeah, Steve,
Yep.
come on.
I was going to say on this last one, let's really focus on the start. So if we get the start before it takes the start with plenty of time, so if we can pick one of those, and let's watch these guys and really have a look at this start. Is there anybody in there that you can see that we might recognize?
We are going to take one last race of today, and Steve, you are going in here. We can see we are waiting for this server 810 server to start. Let's go in and have it. Take it away.
Okay, well, I've just got to be able to find out which one it is there. I'm having a bit of trouble on my screen seeing them, Thomas. I know it's just a little bit of a technical issue that we have there. So, anyway.
Then let me take over. We are from the behind
Please.
here. We can see here it's an Australian boat coming in. And when we're watching and focus this start, there's 28 seconds to the start. See, a lot of boats are just lying behind, waiting until 20 seconds for getting released their sails and then catch the wind. From behind and to the top, there's around 22 seconds. So let's see if he times it well. This skipper we're seeing, he is from Australia. 6 seconds. It's actually too long away. And then let's count.
I've got it now, Thomas.
Yeah.
I've got it here now. Yeah. So this boat on the left-hand side, which is looking like it's Boo 21, he's got a good start. Now the other boat has to give way to him. The boat on the right of him is called Swiss Sailor 82. He's just behind him. He's trying to put his wind shadow, but Boo has right of ways. And actually, we see the guy there. He got a penalty. Daff's got a penalty by Biko because Daffs was actually on the outside, but the other guy was able to tag him on the side of his boat right away. But anyway, up the front here, looking at these boats here, we've got the front runners Boo 21, looks like, and Swiss Sailor 82, very, very close up the front. They're both chosen. No, they've gone to opposite ways, haven't they? So out one side, the left-hand side of the course, Boo 21's taken, and Swiss Sailor 82's taken the other side. You can't see much difference in the wind. The wind looks very even across the course. We can't see any dark areas.
But
so in actual fact, it's just
the speed. The Sweden sailor,
well,
he actually has much more speed than Bo 21.
Right. But Boo's got the angle this time. See, now this time angle is more important because the wind speed of both boats is very similar. Because we can look across the course, the actual wind speed is across the course looks even. So Boo went out to the right-hand side there. Well, it's actually the left-hand side looking up the course. Now he came down with a much more favoured wind angle. So that's what the toss-up is in this game, is to work out if the wind's even, then you really need to be going with the best wind angle. If you see a spot where there's a lot more wind, head for that wind, because even if the angle isn't as good, that wind, that extra wind, is going to make up for it, because there's something called apparent wind. The apparent wind angle, and we can talk about that maybe just later on, but the apparent wind angle, as these boats get going, they get going so fast, the angle to the wind changes. So they can end up going higher, which means that they can become more efficient in their sailing. Anyway, that's a nice penalty just given on Captain Boo by Swiss Sailor. So we've still got the battle on really between Boo. Now Bicol's coming to it, Bicol 1983, and also Captain. Look how close it is at the Thomas here. Four of them. One of them
losing all the speed. Penalty, sailing into.
He lost his speed. Now he's also losing his speed. Captain.
Yeah.
So I think the real winner out of all this has been Boo 21. He came in front, so he didn't have anyone in the way. He kept up his speed going around the mark, and now he's managed to extend his lead up to about 96 meters or so. So yeah, he's doing a good job. Now we've got the downwind. Now, as I say, with the downwind, that you can jibe. When you go downwind and you go one way to the other, it's called jibing. When you go left and right, upwind, it's called tacking. So the jibe, you lose a lot less speed. So if you see this here, he's moved over. It's not going to make a huge difference. It's not going to slow the boat down too much. So if you need to change position going upwind, don't worry too much about jibing. You're not going to lose a heck of a lot. And now here we go. He has to watch out because he doesn't have right of way. The wind's on the left-hand side of the boat. The other boat's on starboard, but that's okay. He managed to go in front, so it wasn't a problem.
But did
nice
you see,
race
Steve,
down
they
through
catch
there.
the Sweet Sailor. He actually catched 50 meters, 53 meters total in Boo 21, racing downwind. What amazing.
Yes. Now looking at that wind, so the wind looks like there's a bit more up on the top left-hand side of the course, so it's going to be interesting. Captain Boo has been able to make up a bit of space. I think he has. So he's coming across now. He has to watch out because he doesn't have right of way. You get a penalty. That's right. He really should have just turned and gone behind the other boat. If he had turned and gone behind, you don't lose too much because your boat picks up speed as you turn away from the wind. If you turn into the wind, your boat slows down, and so what he tried to do was then suddenly turn side. It really wasn't going to work out that for him at all, as we can see it didn't. He should have just turned to the right, gone behind the other boat. As he went behind, his boat would have picked up speed. He could have then straightened up and carried on across the course. And when he came up here, he could have hoped that his position had changed, or at least at the very worst, he'd be just behind, Swiss Sailor. But anyway, so now look at this Boo doing a real good job.
Fighting for it now. They're so close to Sweet Sailor and Boo 21 coming in. Then we have Bico from the opposite side. It's going to be a close one for the top two, and they're going to the middle mark.
Oh, look at this! Look at that bad turn from Boo, though. See, Boo, he tried turning. He didn't do a good turn, and he's probably going to lost out, and he's hit the buoy. So he's done a bad turn. He's hit the mark. Basically, he went into his turn half-hearted, which means that he didn't just try to go from one tack to the other. He's tried to turn halfway through the turn, and what's happened is the boat straightened into the wind. Once the boat goes straight into the wind, and you take the wind off the side of the sail, and you've got no pressure on the sail, the boat just slows down far too fast and it takes too long to pick up speed again. So that's a win by Swiss Sailor. Good sailing by him. Boo did a good job all the way around till that last mark. And basically he tried to, he just didn't do a full turn, a nice quick turn, from one side to the other. You really got to just tack from one side to the other. Don't go halfway around and stop, otherwise you'll be find yourself stuck without wind. Well, that was good. We got to see a good start from these guys and a good close race, Thomas. I think these guys, as they're practicing, everyone's getting better and better at these races because it's becoming closer and closer. We've got 2 seconds, then another 2 seconds, and then another 6 seconds back. So the race has been pretty close.
Steve, what a fantastic race to end up this stream with. And we're just going to see here, fantastic way to end it up. And you can hear there's a lot of music pumping in the background of me. They are testing everything, so we are really getting ready for tomorrow. Steve, we will end up here. Just all of you remember, the tournament begins tomorrow. We fight for a jersey signed by all the skippers. We fight for a cap with signing, and also there will be a live event at eSailGP. Steve, thank you for joining in from Sydney. We will get back to you later.
One thing, great prizes. You revealed the prizes. What a great bunch of prizes. These are signed by the guys from the teams, the real F50 sailors. Really?
They are signed by the captains, and I have the prizes in my hand within the next hour.
Mate, that's brilliant. Well, there you go. I didn't guess that. I thought it was going to be some clothing, but I never imagined that they've been signed by the captains of the boats. Great prize, Thomas. Well done. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, and we'll speak later.
Have a good
The
party
world's
tonight.
best sailors in the world's fastest boats. Welcome to SailGP.
Smoking in to the mark. It's game on. Both. Oh, it's very close to contact. That had to be so close. Here's an awesome race in towards the bottom gate. Have a go at the speed. 43 knots. This team is absolutely on fire.